Imagine a young boy fighting for his life with unwavering bravery, and the one dream that kept him going was to meet his hero, Keanu Reeves. What happens when a Hollywood legend steps into a hospital room to fulfill a boy's final wish will leave you speechless. Stay with us as we unravel a story of courage, connection, and a twist that will touch your heart forever. Before we jump into this unforgettable story, let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more heartwarming stories that will inspire and move you. It began with a tearful video posted online. Elaine Carter, a weary mother with red-rimmed eyes and a trembling voice, faced the camera in what could only be described as a desperate plea. "My son Jake," she said, her voice breaking, "doesn't have much time left. All he's ever wanted is to meet Keanu Reeves. He's been his hero through everything. Please, if anyone can help us make this happen, we'd be forever grateful." The short clip showed photos of Jake, a bright-eyed 13-year-old boy, smiling with his little sister Lily at a family picnic, laughing on a bike ride, and then hooked up to machines in a hospital bed. Elaine's voiceover narrated the journey of her son's battle with a terminal illness. Despite his young age, she said, Jake had endured it all with remarkable courage. Her words painted a picture of a boy who, despite unimaginable challenges, refused to let his spirit waver. "He's my hero," Elaine said as tears rolled down her cheeks. "And his hero has always been Keanu Reeves." Within hours, the video began to spread. Friends shared it. Strangers reposted it. Local news stations picked it up. The heartfelt plea resonated deeply with everyone who watched it. The sight of a mother fighting to fulfill her son's final wish touched hearts around the world. As the story gained traction, questions swirled in the minds of viewers. Why did Jake hold Keanu Reeves in such high regard? What about the actor's life or work gave a terminally ill boy so much strength? And most importantly, would Keanu Reeves ever see this video? Jake Carter had always been a lively, curious boy. At 13, he was the kind of kid who made everything an adventure. Whether it was solving complex math problems or building elaborate tree houses with his younger sister, Lily, Jake approached life with boundless energy. His teachers admired his sharp mind and his friends loved his quick wit. At home, he was Lily's protector, Elaine's source of pride, and Mark's shadow on their weekend fishing trips. But everything changed one autumn afternoon. Jake had been playing soccer when he suddenly collapsed, clutching his head. Lily, only 9 years old, was the first to reach him. "Mom! Dad, Jake's not okay," she screamed, her voice trembling. At the hospital, Elaine and Mark held their breath as doctors ran tests. The initial diagnosis was vague anemia, maybe exhaustion. The family clung to these explanations, hoping it was something simple. But Jake's symptoms worsened. He grew weaker, his once vibrant energy replaced by fatigue and unrelenting headaches. A few weeks later, after more tests and a battery of scans, the doctor entered the room with a solemn expression. Elaine and Mark sat on either side of Jake, holding his hands tightly. "I'm afraid the scans show a tumor," the doctor said quietly. "It's aggressive, and it's located in a critical area of the brain." Elaine gasped, her heart breaking into pieces. Mark stared blankly, as if the words hadn't yet registered. Jake, however, remained calm. He turned to his mother, his small hand squeezing hers. "It's going to be okay, Mom," he said softly. From that moment, the Carter family's world became a whirlwind of hospital visits, treatment plans, and uncertainty. Chemotherapy sessions drained Jake's strength, but his spirit remained unbroken. He would smile and joke with the nurses, even on his hardest days. Elaine marveled at her son's resilience. "How are you so brave, Jake?" she asked one evening, tucking him into bed. "Because I have you, Dad and Lily," he replied. "And as long as I have you guys, I'll be okay." Little did Elaine know, Jake was holding on for more than just his family. Deep down, he had a dream he hadn't yet shared, a dream that would one day change everything. As Jake's health declined, his world became smaller. The energetic days of soccer games and school projects were replaced with endless hospital visits and the sterile hum of machines. Yet, amidst this new reality, Jake found a surprising source of comfort: Keanu Reeves. It started one quiet evening when Mark brought a stack of DVDs to the hospital, hoping to distract Jake during another long night of treatment. One of them was The Matrix. Jake had never seen it before, but within minutes he was captivated. "Dad, this guy, he's amazing," Jake said, his eyes lighting up for the first time in days. From that moment, Keanu Reeves became more than just an actor to Jake. In Neo's relentless fight against impossible odds, Jake saw a reflection of his own battle. As he delved deeper into Keanu's other movies and interviews, Jake discovered the man behind the characters. Keanu's story resonated deeply with him. Jake learned about how Keanu had faced immense personal loss: his daughter, his partner, his best friend, all while navigating the pressures of fame. And yet, despite it all, Keanu remained humble, kind, and quietly resilient. "He's been through so much," Jake said one afternoon, flipping through an old magazine article about Keanu. "But he never lets it make him bitter. He keeps going. He helps people." For Jake, watching Keanu's films wasn't just entertainment, it was a lifeline. The hospital room walls faded away as he immersed himself in the stories. He would quote lines from The Matrix during chemotherapy sessions, reciting Neo's determination like a mantra. "I know you're out there. I can feel you now." Even in his weakest moments, Jake's admiration for Keanu gave him strength. It wasn't just about the action scenes or the characters, it was about the way Keanu faced life with quiet courage. "Do you think he knows how much he's helped people like me?" Jake once asked his mother. Elaine didn't know how to answer, but she saw the hope in her son's eyes. As Jake's condition worsened, his love for Keanu became an escape. The movies transported him to a world where battles could be won, and where strength could come from within. But deep in his heart, Jake wished for something more: a chance to meet the man who had unknowingly become his hero. Months passed, and the Carter family's battle against Jake's illness grew more desperate. The chemotherapy sessions that once gave a glimmer of hope began to take a toll, leaving Jake weaker with each passing day. His once lively eyes now held a quiet determination, though his body struggled to keep up. One rainy morning, the family gathered in the doctor's office, the air thick with unspoken fears. Dr. Reynolds, who had been with them since the beginning, sat across from them, his expression heavy. "The latest scans show that the tumor has spread," he began gently. "At this point, there are no effective treatment options left." Elaine's hand flew to her mouth as tears streamed down her face. Mark stared at the floor, his fists clenched in silent anguish. Jake, however, simply nodded, his calm demeanor surprising everyone in the room. "So what do we do now?" Jake asked, his voice steady. Dr. Reynolds hesitated before answering. "We focus on comfort and making the most of the time we have." That evening, the family sat together in Jake's room. Elaine tried to put on a brave face, suggesting a movie marathon or a board game, but Jake had something else on his mind. "I've been thinking," Jake said, breaking the silence. "If I can't get better, I want to do one thing before, you know." He paused, looking at his parents. "I want to meet Keanu Reeves." Elaine and Mark exchanged glances. The request was simple yet daunting. How could they make this happen? "We'll try, Jake," Mark said, his voice firm. "We'll do everything we can." And they did. Elaine reached out to friends, explaining Jake's wish. Mark contacted local media outlets, sharing his son's story. Jake's younger sister, Lily, even made a colorful sign that read, "Help my brother meet Keanu." Jake's heartfelt wish to meet Keanu Reeves spread beyond the walls of his hospital room, resonating with everyone who heard it. Among those deeply moved were Jake's school friends, who refused to sit idle. Though they hadn't seen him in months, they remembered his infectious laughter and unwavering optimism. During a lunch break, Jake's best friend, Noah, gathered a group of classmates. "Jake needs us," he said, holding up his phone with Elaine's video playing on the screen. "We can't just wait. We have to do something." Together, they brainstormed ideas, eventually settling on a plan to flood social media with a hashtag, #MeetKeanu4Jake. Each of them shared Jake's story, tagging celebrities, news outlets, and anyone they thought might help. The hashtag began to pick up steam. Classmates, teachers, and even strangers joined the effort. Photos of Jake smiling despite his illness circulated online. The posts highlighted his courage, his love for Keanu Reeves, and his dream of meeting the actor. A local journalist, intrigued by the campaign, reached out to Elaine. "Your son's story deserves to be heard," she said during their interview. Days later, the article, titled "A Boy's Last Wish," The hero who gave him strength appeared in the newspaper. It painted a vivid picture of Jake's resilience and the family's fight to fulfill his dream. The article gained traction, catching the attention of national media. News anchors shared snippets of Jake's journey, and celebrities retweeted the hashtag. The campaign exploded, reaching audiences far beyond what the family had imagined. But as the attention grew, so did the waiting. Elaine checked her phone obsessively, hoping for any sign that their plea had reached Keanu. Mark stayed up late each night, responding to messages of support. Even Lily, too young to fully grasp the gravity of the situation, asked daily, "Do you think Keanu's coming?" Days turned into weeks. The initial wave of excitement began to wane, and hope started to flicker. Elaine couldn't shake the fear that their efforts might not be enough. Then, one evening, as the family sat in their living room, Elaine's phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. Her heart raced as she answered. "Hello, this is Sarah from Keanu Reeves' team," the voice on the other end said. "We saw your message, and Keanu wants to meet Jake." Elaine's hand flew to her mouth, tears streaming down her face. "Oh my God, are you serious?" Earlier before the call from Sarah, Keanu Reeves was in the middle of a hectic shooting schedule for his latest film. It had been a long day on set when his publicist approached him with an email. "Keanu, there's something you need to see," she said, handing him a tablet. Keanu's brows furrowed as he scrolled through the email, reading the heartfelt words from Elaine. Attached was the now viral video of Jake, his frail frame illuminated by a hospital bed's soft glow, speaking about his wish to meet his hero. Keanu watched in silence, his eyes fixed on the screen. By the time the video ended, he leaned back in his chair, visibly moved. "This kid," he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. "He's been through so much." That night, alone in his apartment, Keanu couldn't stop thinking about Jake. Memories of his own struggles resurfaced: the loss of his daughter, his partner, and his best friend. He remembered the pain of navigating life after such profound losses, but also the strength he had found in connection and kindness. "He reminds me of why I keep going," Keanu whispered to himself. The next morning, Keanu called his publicist. "Make it happen," he said firmly. "I need to meet this boy." "But you're in the middle of filming," she replied cautiously. "It'll be difficult to rearrange." "I don't care," Keanu interrupted, his voice unwavering. "This isn't about schedules or publicity. This is about doing the right thing." Keanu's team quickly coordinated with Jake's family, ensuring the visit would be private. He refused any media involvement, insisting that the moment be about Jake, not the headlines. As the arrangements were finalized, Keanu prepared himself for the visit. He felt a mixture of anticipation and solemnity, knowing that his presence might bring joy to a boy who had found strength in his work. The day had finally arrived. The hospital was unusually quiet, as if everyone knew something extraordinary was about to happen. Jake's room had been tidied, his bed freshly made, and a small vase of flowers sat by the window. Elaine paced nervously, smoothing down her dress as Mark sat beside Jake, holding his hand. A soft knock at the door broke the silence. A nurse stepped in, her eyes wide with awe. "He's here," she whispered. Keanu Reeves entered the room, his presence unassuming yet magnetic. He wore a simple black jacket and jeans, blending in like an old family friend. "Hi, Jake," he said warmly, his voice gentle but steady. Jake's eyes widened in disbelief. For a moment he was too stunned to speak. You really came," he finally managed, his voice barely a whisper. "Of course I did," Keanu replied, walking over to Jake's bedside. He knelt down, meeting Jake's gaze. "I've heard so much about you. You're a pretty incredible guy." Elaine stood frozen, tears streaming silently down her cheeks. Mark gave her hand a reassuring squeeze, his own emotions barely contained. Jake quickly found his voice, excitement overpowering his initial shyness. "I've seen The Matrix like 100 times," he said, his smile brighter than it had been in weeks. "The part where Neo dodges the bullets. That's the coolest thing ever." Keanu chuckled, his own smile lighting up the room. "That's one of my favorites too. They made me practice that move for hours." The two quickly fell into an animated conversation. Jake eagerly recounted his favorite scenes, quoting lines with surprising accuracy. Keanu listened intently, nodding and laughing at all the right moments. As their conversation deepened, Jake's tone shifted. "Your movies, they helped me," he said quietly. "When things got really hard, I'd watch them, and it made me feel like I could fight too. Like I could keep going, even when it felt impossible." Keanu's expression softened. "That means a lot to me, Jake. But you're the real hero here. I've read about everything you've been through. You've faced things most people couldn't even imagine, and you've done it with so much courage." Jake's eyes filled with tears, but he quickly blinked them away. "I just wanted to make my family proud," he said, glancing at his parents. Keanu reached out, placing a comforting hand on Jake's arm. "You've done more than that. You've inspired everyone around you, including me." For a moment, it felt as though the weight of Jake's illness had lifted, replaced by the joy of connection. But Jake, ever thoughtful and wise beyond his years, had something else in mind. "Keanu," Jake said hesitantly, his voice soft but resolute, "can I ask you for one more thing?" Keanu leaned in, his gaze steady. "Anything, Jake. What's on your mind?" Jake glanced toward his little sister, Lily, who was standing shyly near the doorway. "I want to leave something for Lily, something she can hold on to after I'm gone." Lily's eyes widened, and she rushed to Jake's side, her small hands gripping his tightly. "Don't say that, Jake," she whispered, her voice trembling. Jake smiled gently. "It's okay, Lily. I just want you to remember how much I love you, and how proud I am of you." He turned back to Keanu. "Would you help me record a message for her? Something she can keep forever?" Keanu nodded, his throat tight with emotion. "Of course," he said, his voice unwavering. With Elaine holding the camera and Mark standing by her side, Keanu knelt next to Jake's bed. Jake spoke directly to the camera, his words steady despite the tears glistening in his eyes. "Hey Lily," he began. "I want you to know how much I love you. You're the best sister anyone could ever ask for. I want you to be brave, to follow your dreams, and to never give up, no matter what. I'll always be with you, cheering you on, okay?" Lily nodded tearfully as Jake finished, and Keanu placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Your brother's right, Lily," he said. "You're going to do amazing things, and he'll always be a part of that." But Jake wasn't done yet. As the room quieted, he reached under his pillow and pulled out a small, folded envelope. "Mom, Dad," he said, handing it to Elaine. "This is for you." Elaine opened the envelope with trembling hands, revealing a handwritten letter. The words inside were simple yet profound, filled with gratitude and love. "Dear Mom and Dad, thank you for everything you've done for me. Thank you for staying by my side, for holding my hand, and for making me feel loved every single day. I know this isn't how we wanted things to be, but I want you to know I'm okay. You've given me the best life I could have asked for, and I'll always be with you. Love, Jake." By the time Elaine finished reading, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. Even Keanu looked away momentarily, composing himself before turning back to Jake. "You're an incredible kid," Keanu said, his voice thick with emotion. "And the world is better because of you." As the visit drew to a close, Keanu stood beside Jake's bed, his expression thoughtful. The room was heavy with emotion, but there was also a quiet sense of peace. Jake had spoken his heart, and everyone present felt the profound impact of the moment. "Jake," Keanu said softly, reaching into the bag he had brought with him, "I wanted to give you something special, something to remind you of how extraordinary you are." He pulled out a worn script from The Matrix, its edges frayed from years of use. Keanu handed it to Jake, who looked at it with wide-eyed wonder. "This is the script I used while filming," Keanu explained. "It's been with me through every take, every scene. And now, it's yours." Jake's hands trembled as he opened the cover. Inside, on the first page, Keanu had written a personal message in bold, clear handwriting. To Jake. "The bravest fighter I've ever known. Your strength inspires me, and your heart gives hope to everyone around you. Keep shining. With love. Keanu Reeves." Jake read the message aloud, his voice breaking with emotion. "Thank you," he whispered, clutching the script tightly to his chest. Elaine, standing a few steps away, couldn't hold back her tears. Keanu turned to her, his voice calm yet deeply sincere. "Your son's strength reminds me of the best parts of humanity," he said. "The way he faces life, even when it's hard, is something we can all learn from." Elaine nodded, her hand resting over her heart. "Thank you," she said, her voice barely audible. "Not just for being here, but for giving Jake so much hope. You've made his dream come true." Keanu placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "It's an honor to know Jake," he said. "And to see the love your family shares, it's incredible." Before leaving, Keanu knelt down beside Jake one last time. "You've got this, buddy," he said, giving Jake's hand a gentle squeeze. "You're a hero, and I'll never forget you." Weeks after Keanu's visit, the Carter family cherished the memory of that extraordinary day. Jake had been more at peace, his spirits lifted by the meeting with his hero. Despite his declining health, the warmth of that connection lingered, offering comfort to everyone around him. On a quiet evening, with the family gathered around his bed, Jake passed away peacefully. His hand was in Elaine's, Mark's voice whispered reassurances, and Lily held onto him tightly, tears streaming down her face. Jake's last moments were filled with love, exactly as he had wanted. In the days that followed, the family grieved, but also found solace in Jake's bravery and the joy he had brought to their lives. Elaine, determined to honor her son's memory, shared an update online. She posted a photo of Jake holding the signed script from The Matrix, his smile radiating strength. Her caption read, "Jake's journey has come to an end, but his light will never fade. Thank you to everyone who made his dream come true, and to Keanu Reeves for giving him a moment of pure joy. Let's all carry Jake's spirit forward by cherishing the ones we love and spreading kindness wherever we can." The post went viral, touching millions who had followed Jake's story. Strangers from across the world shared their own acts of kindness inspired by Jake's resilience. Schools started fundraisers in his name, and communities came together to support families facing similar challenges. One day, as Elaine was sorting through letters and emails of condolences, she opened an envelope with no return address. Inside was a simple card. "In honor of Jake, a donation has been made to Children's Hope Foundation to support kids fighting battles like his, K." Elaine's breath caught. The foundation confirmed that the donation was substantial enough to fund numerous programs for terminally ill children. Though the card didn't explicitly state who Kay was, Elaine knew. She shared the news with her family, their hearts swelling with gratitude. "Jake's story is changing lives," she said softly. Jake Carter's story was more than a tale of illness and loss. It was a testament to the power of resilience, the strength of love, and the profound impact of human connection. His bravery inspired a community, a nation, and even the man he admired most. Jake taught us that while life is unpredictable, the love we share and the kindness we show create ripples far beyond what we can imagine. Life is short, but love lasts forever. Still, don't forget to like and subscribe for more heartwarming stories that will inspire and move you.